Hello everyone, this is just a video that I've been, I guess, unofficially tagged by multiple people to do a what is your plan for your 2012 garden. Up here in Canada I have one season, and that's, my summer garden. I don't have any type of weather to deal with during the summer that is bad. However, during the winter we get snow and ice and cold temperatures. If you can see out back behind me now, we're getting quite the little snowstorm today. However, I'm going to try to keep this short. Basically, what I'm attempting to do this year, this will be my second year on the property, or actually my first full year on the property, but my second year having a garden. Last year I did somewhat of a grow what I wanted to grow type of thing as a trial. And I ended up growing, I think, maybe around 17, 16 different things, different types, and then multiple varieties within each. And some things did real well, some things did okay, and a lot of things did very poorly. My soil was very poor. It was clay-like soil. It stayed wet until, June. So I couldn't get a good till with it. But this year I added, I don't know how many tons of aged horse compost, or compost in general, that I had in front of my barn. It's been there for who knows how long. Its grass is growing on it and everything, but in the area that where I took it from, I'm going to turn that into a grass paddock so the horses can go. And with the compost being 4 to 5 feet thick in some spots, the horses would have a hard time walking around on that, especially, and they could get injured as well as people. But anyway, I put multiple tons. I wouldn't even know how many tons or how many cubic yards I put on the garden this year. But anyway, I actually have two garden plots. My main garden, which is in a lot of my other videos, and I have a smaller garden, a smaller plot, which is roughly, I don't know, maybe 70 by 70 feet, 60 by 70 feet. And those I'm getting berries in. Rootstock of strawberries. I'm getting 500 strawberry plants, and I'm getting 200 raspberry plants. All the bare root dormant stock. I'll be getting those delivered here in the middle of May. So I'm looking forward to that. They won't obviously produce until 2013. So I guess somewhat I should have done this last year, but I didn't have the space or the time or even really the want for berries. But they weren't very expensive, and raspberries especially, they'll last for years and years and years. Strawberries you can get maybe 3, 4, 5 years out of them, depending on how you take care of them, depending how the winters are. But anyway, I'm moving into berries. For that, if that does well this year, even with no fruit production, if the foliage and the plants look healthy and strong, I'll order some more for next year and make another garden plot. But I guess basically what my gardening is all about is about providing people shares, similar to what a CSA is. However, my CSA isn't a true CSA. People don't come here to help work. People really don't come here to pick up their produce and things like that. I deliver into the big city that's near here, and so far, it's still January, so I haven't sent out any information to people because it's still a little too early. I probably will by the end of February. That way I can get my money, and if I need to buy more supplies at that time, I can. But basically, I'm going to give you the rundown of what plants or what vegetables that I'm planting this year. I'm not too certain about how much of certain ones yet. If you really want to know, put it in the comment below about how many tomatoes or how many rows of beans or corn or whatever, and leave it in the comment below, and then I'll be able to answer you more direct. This way it won't take up so much time. But anyway, basically I'm going to give you a rundown of a little printout that I have here, and this isn't even everything, but this is most things. Alright, I'm going to do bush bean, yellow and green, in the spring, pole beans, which will be for the fall. I'm going to do beets, broccoli, some cabbage, cauliflower, carrots, sweet corn, cucumber, multiple varieties, slicing, pickling. I'm going to try some that are all female flowers, a couple different kinds. Some eggplant, melon, cantaloupe, mainly cantaloupe, mustard green, various types of lettuces and another type of greens, kale, some arugula, spinach. Those are your early crops that they'll be ready, by July at the latest, which is when I'm shooting to start, or the last week of June or the first week in July. I don't have a greenhouse, so I can't start lots of things Like my lettuces, I could start those in April up here to be ready for June, but I don't have a greenhouse this year. Hopefully by next year. Anyway, back to the list. Mustard, I said greens. I'm going to try some okra, which even though it's a hot weather crop, you know, we had a pretty hot summer last year, hot and dry, and that's what okra likes, so I'm going to try that out. Onions, green onions and bulbing onions. Your peas, the snap peas, your sugar snap peas, as well as some bush peas or shell peas. Peppers, hot peppers, sweet peppers, bell peppers, lots of kinds. Potatoes, various kinds. I'm not sure. I don't have my potatoes ordered. My local farm store won't get those in until April, beginning April maybe. But they have various kinds. Last year I got Chieftain, which was a thin-skinned red, and they were pretty good. They're not good for frying though. I think maybe more like your Yukon Gold or something like that. Your big main crop potatoes would be better for that. Pumpkin, you know, decorative pumpkin, eating pumpkins, you know, different kinds, gourds. Mainly that's just for decoration. I'm gonna do lots of radishes, summer squash, you know, your yellow, your green, your striped, your crookneck, all different kinds. Winter squash, the same thing. Acorn, butternut, buttercup, different types of winter squash. Swiss chard, lots of Swiss chard. That grew actually half decent for me last year, even though it didn't even get very big, and with the soil conditions. So this year, with the better soil and better, if hopefully better germination in a good year, I should have lots of Swiss chard. Tomatoes, tons of tomatoes. Watermelons, I got some sugar babies, some long ones, some rattlesnake, different types, different kinds, see how they do. And then your zucchini, which is your summer squash. I'm also going to get into or trying some herbs this year. And let me try to think if there's anything else. This is an old list. This is from, I don't know, a month or two ago, and I've updated my list since then. But I think that's basically it. And I'm sorry I don't have a diagram. Some people have diagrams or a whiteboard to show what it is. I just have two big plots, one big plot, one small plot, roughly around a third to a half acre total for this year. And I'm going to try to cram it with as much stuff as I can. Also want to try maybe doing some compost tea. I've read a lot about that, and people seem to have good success with that. And I got tons of compost, so I can make up a lot of batches of compost tea and mainly, you know, try it on things, you know, on my row crops, say like my row of beans or my row of Swiss chard. You know, do 20 feet with compost tea and give it a month and just see if there's a difference. If there is a difference, then I can guarantee that it works better. If there's no difference, then maybe I won't do it, because a garden at this scale, which is a pretty, you know, it's a very large garden for a home gardener in a sense. But as I said, I'll be selling some of this produce to people in the city, and I'd like to get people around here to also purchase it. Well, I'll be putting out flyers to advertise it, somewhat of a CSA. My ultimate goal, I guess, kind of all over the place here, but my ultimate goal is to get this to be, you know, somewhat of a full-fledged CSA local.